Welcome to the Glow Up Girl podcast, the show where purpose meets inspiration. Each week, I sit down with incredible individuals who open up about their real life journeys, the wins, the setbacks, and the lessons in between. Whether you're navigating career moves, entrepreneurship, or personal growth, you're in the right place. I'm Kyra Mitchell Lewis, your host, and I'm so glad you're here. Let's glow up together. All right, happy Thursday. I hope everyone is doing well out there. What are we talking about today? Who's our guest? Well, today we're talking about from dumpster fires to disco balls, turning teen tension into clarity and momentum with my guest, Grandi Washington. She is the visionary founder of the Inspired Team and creator of the Decode Align Shine framework and the disco ball theory. Can't wait to learn more about that. Known for transforming stuck teams into unstoppable ones, Grandi blends strategy, science, and sparkle to help leaders build clarity, trust, and cultures um, where everyone shines. All right, I am excited about that because I love talking about these things. So why don't we grab Grandi and bring her into the conversation? All right, welcome back, and let's welcome Grandi to the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm excited to be here with you.
Yes, I'm glad to have you here. So, we're going to kick off and have you start by telling everyone listening or watching out there who you are and what you do.
Okay, I am Grandi Washington, otherwise known as the Assessment Queen, Reading Rebel, um, People Whisperer. I am the visionary of the Inspired Team, and we help people understand themselves and each other, and build healthy and happy and fun, sparkly teams. So,
Yes, I am all for that. So, why don't we kick off by talking about the different types? So, we know that there are a lot of personality assessments, right? There are lots of things to tell you about who you are and how this works and this works. But what makes your approach to this different?
oh, my approach. So I absolutely love learning, and I have spent my life kind of looking at human behavior and wanting to understand it. And I got the assessment bug. I learned about all of the different assessments, and um, each one of them is different. They're all very similar in some ways, just that they measure something about people to help you understand yourself. But they're all very different. And I am unique in the fact that I got certified in like 10 different types of assessments. So, so I know quite a few of them.
Mhm.
And instead of just using one assessment that's like, oh, use this, it's so popular and everybody loves it,
Mhm.
you should totally use this one. I
Right.
I can be able to say, "Okay, but what do you wanna solve? Like, what's your issue?" And then I will take 2 or 3 of them and put them together to create a
Oh.
bigger picture, a more full picture of the person to kind of give you, like, the all around 360 view, which is super cool.
Yeah, I actually love that idea because because you're right, because so many times, especially when you look at people in like corporate spaces, right?
Oh,
So many times it's like, let's do this one. And this is the be all end all. But people have most people have done other ones for themselves
mhm.
and they're like, well, I don't know how does this work with this? And I always tell this story, and I think I probably told it here on the podcast sometimes. So people, if you've heard this, pretend like it's the first time you're hearing it, but I remember there was a job that a company I was with, and they had this one type of like assessment that was actually quite terrible because it was kind of based on like this color system, right? There were like people who were like red, they were like like be like you had to be brief, be bold, and like they sort of put these people as like they were terrible, but
Yeah.
they weren't. But the way the description or the of them, it was kind of like wow, okay. And then there was like blue, and those red people were like, I think they were extroverts. The blue people were um introvert, but they were like all about data, and they were all about like, let me figure out the things, like give me all the information. And then you had the green who were like also intro, but they were like about harmony. Like they didn't want to argue with things. They just wanted like the to be peace and do my
Yep.
job. And then there was like yellow who was like, oh sunshine, like involve me. Like I want to be involved and yellow. And so it was really interesting because it immediately caused a whole bunch of chaos at work.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
because when we did them, people who were like, a lot of people sat at the red blue, and those were the people who were like, those were the leaders, those are the people who are going to
Mhm,
get promoted. At least that was the sort of like perception at
mhm,
work, even though that was not true. And then you had like a lot of people who, like in the area in which I worked, who were marketing, a lot of design people were like green, yellow, and a lot of them are introverted and they do want peace, but it's like, I just put somebody in a box. And I remember mine was the weird one because I was the yellow blue person. And it was like, oh, you're like the anomaly. You're the different one. And I was like, okay, great. Like I'm fine with being unique, but I mean, do we
yeah.
have to single me out as being the only person that has the so it was like there were like arguments held. People were like, there were little fights being happening within the organization because people were like, well, they said that you won't move up because you're not this and this. And I was like, this is absolutely crazy.
Yes. Wow, and that's a really good story for why and how people get so afraid of assessments and of learning. I hear a lot of like, I'm gonna get fired, what you said, I'm never gonna get
Mhm.
promoted. Oh, I'm the wrong type. You put me
Mhm.
in a box. That's my favorite
Mhm.
one.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And it is so it's so and I love your approach because there are several. Like even for that one, like, yeah, I took some, I think it was called Insights Discovery. I think I took some things from that, but then but there were others like Fascinate Advantage, which is one that I really like. Like I took things from that. And like you said, there are various because you're I mean, you have like underlying things that make you who you are, but you're allowed to evolve and change. And I think sometimes when people do assessments in the corporate world, it's like you're just, well, you're this person today, so you must be that person tomorrow and next week. And this is the character you play in our production. And we're
Yeah.
gonna keep you there.
Yeah, no. No.
So I'm pleased with what you do for people.
Thing. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. When I go in, and I do workshops, I usually will do two, at least two different assessments to give them that full view. And I tell people, okay, let's look at your results. Now tell me what's wrong. And I start with that.
Mm.
Tell me what's wrong. Let's prove this wrong. Let's see, like, what do you disagree with? And then we
Mhm.
unpack it that way because I get a
Mhm.
lot of people who are like, on the disc, which is similar to what you took. Like they're a high D
Mhm.
and they're like, I'm not mean. I'm not the one that's like, "Oh my god, get it done now," and bad and mean and harsh. Like, no, you're just direct and you want your answers faster.
Mhm.
You want people to be prepared. Like you're
Mhm.
ready to go versus someone else who may need the agenda ahead of time and who may
Mhm.
need to think and know like that their
Mhm.
answers will be valued because they can provide the best answers ahead of time because they've been given the space to think about it.
Right.
So
Yes.
when you explain those, instead of like you're the domineering, like bad person, and then you're the other person over here in the corner who's so slow and can't give an answer,
Mhm.
of course you're going to hate your results, but
Mhm.
not if you're told like how you shine with that and what makes you special and what makes you really amazing and a strength to your team and how
Mhm.
you can contribute. So like
Mhm.
that person who needs the time is going to bring you the best answers, the most research, the most prepared. They're probably going to be calmer under pressure,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm.
And
Yes.
then the other person is going to be like, all right, let's get it going. Let's go. Let's move. Let's keep the
Yeah.
ball rolling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I were to, depending on how I present that, one could look awful and one could
Mhm.
feel awful,
Right. Right.
and the other one presented the
Mhm.
other way feels much better.
Mhm.
So it's all about understanding who you are and knowing that, no one is exactly like you, and that's, like,
Exactly.
the best part. That's so cool.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Because that is always so important. That is what I always tell people when I'm leading people. It's like,
Yeah.
I want for your unique individual traits to like shine. Like you are
Yes.
you for a reason, and you should not try to be like another person. I'm not trying to be like another leader. But I think it's really important what you said as to, sort of like understanding and even understanding and celebrating those differences, right? Like you said, that person who can take in information. I had a manager who's a friend now. Shout out to you, Christy, if you're listening. But I mean, she can intake information so quickly and process it and has already like got the plan. Like for me, I'm just a bit more like, let me like I'm processing it and trying to like make sure before I speak that like I've thought about all the things. And
Yes.
and those are two different types of personalities, but we always worked really well together because I had a respect for the way in which she worked, and she had, as my manager, had a respect for the way that I worked because she knew, like, yeah, she may not come in this moment, but like she's gonna be thoughtful in how she approaches what we're asking, or what we've talked about today. And I think like that is
Mhm.
something that a leader, as leaders look at
Yep.
the individuals on their team, that it's really important for leaders to be able to like actually meet people where they are.
Yes, that is so important, and it is the like, you can have all of the knowledge in the world, and you can be the smartest person, but if you don't truly care about your people, and you don't
Yes.
truly want to know
Mhm.
how to understand them, like, none of it matters. You know,
Yes.
I say you can communicate all day long. It's not actually the communication, it's the understanding, and it's the
Mhm.
willingness and the ability to understand. And just because you understand does not mean that you have to agree. And that's a
Right.
big thing that a lot of people miss. They're like, well, I don't agree. Right. Okay. But do you understand? Do you,
Mhm.
are you
Mhm.
standing in my shoes? Am I
Right.
standing in yours?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, now let's talk about the way you approach it. And you use playful concepts like
Yeah.
shout out to the disco ball that's on your shirt. So the disco ball theory and
Yeah.
also shine. So can you talk about those?
Yeah. Yeah, so the disco ball theory is something that I kind of it just naturally happened.
Mhm. Mhm.
um so if you think about like what makes up a disco ball, right? It is shards of glass. So very often you can, think about how many times you walk on the street and you see like broken glass, right? So shards of
Mhm.
glass on the ground, and it's often just looked at as like, oh, no, step on it, walk away. You might catch
Mhm.
a little bit of that like shining in the light. But if you
Right.
have an if you have an artist who sees that big pile of glass,
Mhm.
and they pick it up and they put it together
Mhm.
to this beautiful disco ball. And what happens when you shine light on a disco ball is it shines light on everything else around it,
Mhm.
helping it
Mhm.
shine. So our results and our team and our strengths, the things that make us important, are those little bitty pieces of glass. And with the
Mhm.
right leadership and the right mentoring, you can pick those up, put them together. And that's what we do in our workshops is
Mhm.
make everybody a big disco ball of light
I
so
like it.
they can build their teams below them, the same
Oh,
and next to them. So, yeah,
awesome. I love that.
yeah,
I bet people, I mean, I think like it's a very like it's something you see in the world, right? You see out in the wild in the natural. And it's
yeah,
simple, but it's so like impactful on what you just
mhm,
said. Like all of these things work together to create something special.
yep,
And I
yeah,
think people lose that sometimes, right? Like a lot of times, especially leaders, because leaders are, under pressure.
mhm, yeah,
They're often thinking about like the numbers and the getting something done. And sometimes, like you said, sometimes that empathy and care for the people on their team can escape them.
yes. Your people are your business. And people
Yes.
are the number one biggest asset, biggest piece that make up your business.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
you can have the best processes in the world and strategy and all this stuff, but without the people to run that, you
Right.
have nothing. So if you don't invest in your people
Mhm.
and work with them and care about them, then where's
Right.
your business go? It's gone,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
You've got nothing, people.
yeah.
um, so let's talk about before we go back to sort of like the really amazing side of it. Let's talk about the side where people have people issues. Like what are some of the early signs that a team has people issues before it becomes like a full blown crisis?
Yeah. So people issues can look like a lot of different things. It can look like low motivation. Before you get to burnout, productivity is low. You've hit the ceiling. You're not doing as much. You have distracted teams. You have no conflict. That's a major people issue if you have zero conflict, because it means you have a team who's working in fear. They either working in fear or they're working in, I just don't care.
Mm,
Both of
mhm,
those are issues.
mhm,
If you don't have like buy-in, people are just lackadaisical and they're kind of just here and they're checking boxes. All of these are big indicators of people issues coming up. And then, of course, you have they don't show up, they don't want to do anything, they're there for a paycheck, that kind of thing.
mhm,
But
mhm.
really, I mean, it's if they don't feel seen, they don't feel valued, they don't feel heard, you're gonna have people issues.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
going to happen.
Mhm. And I thought one that you said, definitely was interesting was, like, the no conflict, because I think a lot of times leaders see that as like, "Oh, everything's good, they're not saying anything," but like you say, yeah, underneath that, a lot of people, because especially if you've ever been that person, right? I've been at a job where I got to be that person where it's just like, "You know what? Like, I'm just gonna do my job, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna be looking for a different one on the other side because I'm tired," and, so you just sort of like you said, people are just going through the motions and they're just like checking
Yeah.
the box, doing the work. And
Yeah.
I think when you understand and know your people well, then you start
Yep.
to see like, well, this person's not lighting up the room like they used to, or they're not
Mhm.
making the little, funny, they're not being the jokester in the team meeting,
Yeah.
or coming with some antidote for the team today. So I think like it's like, yeah, you should just have to pay attention. And what would you say when people like when you're a leader and say you start to notice those things, like what would you say is something that they could do to just try to get back into step with their team?
Yeah. So one of the biggest reasons, aside from pay, like
Mhm,
compensation, one of the biggest
mhm,
reasons why people leave is because they're not doing work that is in their strengths and that goes with their instinctive strengths.
mhm,
So my number one thing is, all right, let's find out what those are.
mhm.
So, and I use Colby with that. That's
Okay.
the index that measures your instinctive strengths and your approach to problem solving. So if
Mm,
you can find out how your people are solving problems and approaching their work every day. It's a simple conversation. Like sit down with them and ask, what do you love? Like what lights you up? What are your interests? Take
mhm,
notice of things in their lives. Um, there is no such thing as work-life balance. It's harmony. It all comes together
mhm,
and it all forms and makes that disco ball of the
mhm,
whole entire person. So if you can find out the things that light up your team, the things they're interested in, what are their love languages at work? How do they
mhm,
solve problems? What do they need from you? And are you setting them up for success?
mhm.
I mean, there's so much you could do. I could talk to you for like a year.
I love it because what you highlighted was really like
Yeah.
that zone of genius, right? Like, what
Yes.
is that thing so people feel like they have impact? When people feel like they add value and they have
Mhm.
impact at work, they're more likely to show up and be engaged.
Mhm.
But when people feel like you said, people don't feel like they're seen or they're heard, or the way that they approach things is like, oh, that's bad. You have to approach it this way. Then, yeah, then they check out mentally.
They do. They do. I just had a really good conversation with my assistant because she's amazing and wonderful, and I'm so grateful for her. But
Hmm.
she asked me yesterday something, and she's like, "What do you want done?" And I'm like, "This is the result I want. Don't care how you get there. I want you to do it your way and the way that works better for you." And I feel like a lot of times as leaders, we get stuck in the this is the process, must be done this way,
Hmm. Hmm.
follow mine. But it doesn't work as well for your team. And what happens if you let go of that and your team worked faster and better
Hmm.
because they were able
Hmm.
to do it their way and you still got the result that you wanted?
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think that is important because you're right. I mean, sort of like the old way of doing things is where people just feel like it's my way, or, no way. You have to do it this way. And we've got these processes. And it's like, I mean, a process can be there. But like you mentioned, if I can come up with a faster way to get the same result and get there faster and easier for how I work,
Yeah.
why not?
Right. Right. Then we can
Yeah.
go do more things.
Exactly. Yeah,
You know?
it's really about like having a open mind, like a mind for like to continuously evolve.
Yeah.
And that is the question I'm going to ask you, leading into the sort
Okay.
of mindset shift, because
Yeah.
sometimes that's a stuck leader, right? And a
Mhm.
leader themselves can get stuck in like focusing on sort of like you said, the process of it all,
Yeah.
or the numbers. Like, yes, we all know we're there to do work that is impactful. And if in some cases that means meeting certain KPIs or whatever.
Mm.
But
Right.
at the same time, it's like the the how we get there should not necessarily, like, we shouldn't focus and be stuck there. So, what do
Yeah.
you say to leaders that may feel like people who may be listening and they might
Mhm.
say, well, I hear you, Grandy. And a lot of that feels like where I am now. And they just feel like they might be stuck. What's a mindset shift they can make?
As far as their teams and wanting
Mhm.
to motivate their teams, I would say take a look inside for sure, because as a leader, if you're looking at the head of the company, right? So like the CEO, or
Mhm. Mhm.
your company's likely your dream. So every day you are working towards your dream. What does that feel like?
Mhm.
And think about that for a minute. Like, how does that feel to know that you are working towards your dream? Now, look at your team and know that your team is here. Yes, you pay them, but they're really there for a lot more than that,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
How does it feel to have people working towards your dream? Well,
Mhm.
what if you
Mhm.
could pay that back to them and you could show them that you care about them as much as they care about your dream?
Mhm.
Right? That will make, like, a huge difference,
Mhm.
but just, that, and then looking at it as, "Okay, what's important to me?" Asking that question, "What's important? Is it how they get there, or is
Mhm.
it the result?
Right.
Do I want," and as visionaries, a lot of times, we want things faster now, go, it's not happening fast enough.
Mhm.
Maybe there's a reason why? Maybe
Mhm.
someone's not working in flow. They're not working in their zone of genius. They're working against the grain, against their instincts. You
Mhm.
get the right person in the right seat that
Mhm.
requires the right instincts. They're going to work faster and
Mhm.
better.
Yeah.
So, who are your race car drivers, right? In what role? And get them, look at the seats that you have with the people and see, maybe you need to do some shifting around. Doesn't mean somebody's bad at something, it just might mean that they're really good at something else, and we
Right.
wanna put them there.
Mhm.
So,
I'm going to ask you to take it even one step farther, because this is the group
yeah.
that actually, it's that middle layer of management. When you look at
Okay.
corporate and you look at
Yep.
that Middle management layer, the ones that carry the bulk of everything. They've
Oh,
got the managers. They are often the ones leading the teams,
yep.
and they feel like compressed at both sides, right? They're getting it from the team and they're getting it from the top. What do you say to those people who may feel like, I'm gonna explode. I don't know what to do. Like,
I always tell them to feel it and know that you are human and that it is okay and that there is serious science behind hitting a wall. And there is serious science behind needing to take a rest. Like the work is always going to be there. If you work 4 hours or you work 12 hours, depending on how you're feeling, you're going to get the same amount done, right?
Mhm, mhm,
Some days you're like on, and other days you just don't feel it. So I'm a really big proponent of like work in that flow and work in the way that you feel and communicate that to your people because likely if you're feeling that way, your team is feeling it. And
mhm,
a lot of times as leaders, they're not inside our head. Like they don't know exactly what we're feeling. So when we come in and we're upset about an email that we got or something that happened out or, we're in a bad mood,
mhm,
we come in and outwardly, and especially as women, put that outward and our teams now they're making up stories. Now they're trying to figure out who's getting fired, what's wrong,
mhm,
what did I do wrong? Oh my god,
mhm,
am I going to have a job? Are we getting a pay cut? And it spirals.
That's
So
right. Yeah.
communicating to them and saying, you know, hey, I got a parking ticket or, I spilled my coffee or, whatever
Mhm.
that it might
Yeah.
be, that little super simple thing that is just throwing the wrench in your day. Communicate it with them because they know you're human and that goes up too,
Mhm,
right? So
mhm.
tell it to
Yeah.
your boss because your boss likely is just looking for somebody to relate to. A lot
Mhm,
of times that's what it is. We want to have that human personal connection, whether it's, work related, fully professional or not.
mhm.
It just don't hide behind those walls.
Right. I love that. That's great advice.
Thanks.
Tell us about Decode, Align, Shine, the framework, and
Yeah.
the Disco Ball Vault.
Okay, yeah. So Decode, Align, Shine is my framework that I use. So when I meet with people, they'll say we've got people issues or we want to make sure that our team is set up for success. We want to know what their strengths are, how to use them. So I have workshops that I put together for them using, two different assessments, usually two, three, whatever they want, and we unpack them and take them out of the box that they think they're in.
Mhm,
So we decode their strengths, we decode their results, we go through them. Then we get the team aligned by doing, we play with Legos, we play with disco balls, we do all kinds of fun activities
mhm. Nice.
to kind of get them aligned in understanding each other and seeing like what Kyra needs, what Grandi needs, how we can work together.
Mhm,
How we need to manage our approach. And, things that maybe you can take for me and maybe I can take for you and work
mhm,
together with that. And then that shows us how the team can shine together and then using their strengths in the right seats and with the right things, finding things that people love, and then how to share that with their teams as well, because they start to understand themselves. And once you understand yourself and truly how you work,
mhm.
then that gives you confidence and you can help understand other people too. So it kind of just it goes.
Yeah, I like that. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. And so tell everybody out there, excuse me, how they can
Mhm.
connect to you, how they might work with you if they're interested.
Yeah. So we do have a website is theinspiredteam.com. And if they wanted to reach out to us to make an appointment or a call, it's just shine at theinspiredteam.com. And then we're also on LinkedIn. So you can find me at Grandi Washington or under the Inspired Team.
Awesome. All right.
And yeah.
Perfect. Well, we are going to transition now into three things with Grandy. I'm going to ask you three more questions that just helps our audience get to know you a little bit better. The first one is a two-parter.
Okay.
Tell how do you start and end the day?
Mm. I start the day, I really have a routine. Um, I get up, I put on the tea because I just stopped drinking coffee, which is crazy for someone who used to drink 5 shots of espresso in the morning. Um, switched over to tea, and I have like 3 devotionals that I read every morning. And then I love Gabby Bernstein, so I have some of her cards, and chakra cards, so I spend, like, my first 30 minutes kind of focusing on that, setting my intentions for the day. My daughter gave me this bracelet, um,
Mhm.
for well-being and, like, mental clarity. Of course, I couldn't think, and it's for mental clarity. And so that's the first thing that I put on every morning when I get up out of bed, and that's kind of like, "Okay, now the day can start, and these are the
Mhm.
things that I do."
Mhm.
So that's my morning, and my evening, it's again, it's tea, it's a book because I cannot get enough of books. I
Mhm. Mhm.
love to read.
Yes.
So yeah, just
Awesome.
reading and yeah, relaxing, meditating. Those are my beginning and end, my bookends to my day, setting my
I
goals
like it.
for the next. Yeah.
Mhm. All right. Second is what's a goal, a current goal or intention that you're focusing on?
Oh, my bookstore bed and breakfast.
Ooh, yes, do tell, because I love books and I'm listening.
Okay. Yeah, so my big dream, is a bookstore bed and breakfast that is a space for community and people to come
Mhm,
and be at. So space for artists, space people can come and be creative. I love to paint and do all kinds of different art stuff. So we'll have a corner in there that is has free materials for people to use and come
mhm,
hang out. We have a cafe that will be all literary names, place for local artists, people who have
mhm,
ever felt they don't belong. They all belong here.
mhm.
It's going to be staffed with people who are geniuses in their genre that they love to read. So you're going to get your,
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
your resident thriller reader will be, certain times, and we have all kinds of different activities and things that we're going to do. So it is a big dream, and I'm also a certified dream manager, and I'm like, well, if I can't make my own dream happen, then how can I help others? So here we go.
Well,
So
bring it, Brandy, because
it is
I
a
love that.
destination, and when it opens, I'm gonna give you a trip so you can come to Florida
Um,
and stay and hang out
I
with.
love that because that is amazing,
Yes.
amazing. I always see these things on, like, TikTok, and I'm like, "Why isn't there anywhere close to me?" I would
Yeah.
love to do that. Like, I love books, I love stories, and just, like, hobbies, like, creating things, like, that's all in my lane, and I'm so excited for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
so fun. Yeah.
Alright, where are you currently finding inspiration?
Wow. Aside from books, really, just through a lot of relationships and well, my sister
Mhm.
and my kids, my daughters,
Mhm.
they're inspiring to me. So
Nice.
most certainly, I look to them. They're my happy place. Um,
Yeah, I love it.
yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Well, Grandy, I have truly enjoyed this conversation and this time with you today. Before I let you go, I have to ask you one last question. It is what would you like our audience listening or watching to take away? Three things to take away from our conversation today.
Three things. One, that they absolutely are perfect who they are. Really just being proud of yourself and knowing that, you know what, yes, you're different and that's okay because you're supposed to be. I think that is the biggest thing. Number two would be use assessments as a tool to learn about yourself and to be okay with yourself. My journey has taken me through this, and it is through learning about myself that I'm like, oh, that's really cool. So take the time to learn about yourself. And then, gosh, the other is that books are magic.
Tell them, tell them, tell them. I mean, if you do not read, okay, you can do, I know people that listen to audiobooks because some people are just like, I just can't read.
Yeah,
So I get it. But
me
do,
too.
do audio, but I love a good book. I love to turn the pages.
Yes.
And I just love to, like the fact that when a story is so good, you can visualize it. And I'm like in the story with them.
Yes. And wear a tiara while you read too, because it just makes it all the better.
So, well, Grandi, thank you so
Yeah.
much for sharing all the tips today, all this great information with our community.
Yeah, thank you, Kyra. It's been so fun. This is the highlight of my day. So
Awesome.
I appreciate you.
Awesome. Well, stay tuned, everyone. I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. And let's thank Grandi again today for joining us. I mean, my gosh, what great work she does. I mean, I get really excited about, I love personality assessments, always have, but I think when they're used in the right way of building people up and not making people feel less than in the work that she does and how she uses them to show a complete picture of people that's amazing. So make sure you check out the links in the show notes so you can learn more about Grandi and the work that she does. If you'd like to learn more about us at Glow Up Girl, make sure you visit our site, glowupgirl.com, and make sure you sign up for our newsletter so you can get tools, insights, and inspiration as you are on your own glow up journey. All right, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you are saying, oh, I'd love to watch this episode. Make sure you do that. We are at Glow Up Girl, and don't forget to rate, review, or share. It helps more people find the show. And if you're sharing anything of ours on social, make sure you tag us in. All right. Lastly, if you're a brand or business looking to partner with this community, send an email, hello@glowupgirl.com. All right. Thank you again, my friends, for taking time out of your busy day to listen or watch wherever you may be in the world. Appreciate the support so very much. And I will see you all again next week. So until then, my friends, stay focused, fab, and glow up. Take care, everyone.